There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hi dear friend, my name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have a special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Hello, good evening, good people, and it's great to be with you here again this Saturday. And today I am going to be your host. My name is Sarah Jessie Appiah, and I am joining you all the way from Geneva, Switzerland. So let's see who is here with us this evening. Let us know where you are joining us from. Just drop in your name and tell us where in the world you are joining us today. I can already see William Dafoe, who is joining us from Ghana, from Tema to be precise. Great to see you here again, William. You are always here with us. So we really cherish and want to acknowledge you for always joining us on a Saturday as you grow in your leadership. And I can see Yao Mawu Yuram Abugan also joining us from Accra. Good evening to you, and good afternoon or good morning from wherever you are joining us. Today we bring you again a great leadership lesson, and we have no other than our own original host of this leadership platform, Mr. Samuel Kumi Ayim, who will be speaking to us on a very interesting topic: how successful leaders grow their impact, achieve greater impact. I'll get the title correct in a minute. But as we're waiting for me to do so, let me see if any of you will be courageous enough to drop your name and tell us where you are joining us from, especially those of you who are joining us for the first time. So let's see. Whilst I wait for people to join, I will just tell you Dinah Ayim Hammond is joining us from Oyarifa, Ghana. Welcome to you, Diana. And then here we go. Today, Sam is going to talk to us on how successful leaders expand their capacity for greater impact. It's impact of leaders that really make them successful. So I am all ears and getting ready to take lots of notes. So please get your notepad, or if you're recording it on your phone, get it ready, and let's welcome Sam as he joins us to share with us once again how successful leaders expand their capacity for greater impact. Sam, can I ask you to take the floor and take us away? Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And good evening, everyone. I'm excited once again to join you on the leadership platform. And those of you who are joining us, we're going to be together for about 1.5 hours, 90 minutes of learning together. We are learning together. So if you're new, please, or even if you're not new, wherever you're connecting from, please share with us your name and we will let the world know you are here. So share with us. We'd love to hear you join us. I know that Alex has joined. Emmanuel Adipoy has joined. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to discuss a very important subject, which is relevant for leaders and relevant for everybody, for our lives, to improve our lives, to make meaning out of our lives. So I want to encourage you, as Sarah said, to take notes and to be ready to learn. But more importantly, we are also waiting for your ideas. We're going to interact a bit more. I would like you to share with us what you are learning, what you are taking away as we go along. So please go ahead, whether you are joining from YouTube or Facebook or any other connection, please like our page, share our page, and invite your friends, your family, your colleagues to share. Invite your leaders, your pastors, your church members, and let everybody come around and let us learn. Now, let me start to share my screen. Let me see, quickly share my screen with you so that we can learn together. Sarah, you will tell me if you see my screen.
I
Just
will do.
confirm that you are seeing it so that I know everybody else is seeing.
I see your screen.
Can you
Great.
see my screen?
Yes,
All
I can see
right.
your screen.
Okay,
Yes.
so
You're good to
um,
go.
the subject is how successful leaders expand their capacity for greater impact. And the two words I want you to underline are capacity and impact. Capacity and impact, because they are directly related. Your impact in the world is directly correlated to your capacity. So we're going to see how leaders, great leaders, successful leaders, increase their capacity so they can make greater impact. All right. So to start with, I will want to throw a few questions and I want answers. I want you to share with me what you think. where you are on these questions, and I want us to discuss. So 3 questions, and I want you to think through them and share with me. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt? If you were certain that you are not going to fail, what is it in this world that you will want to do? Number 2, if you had no limitations, absolutely none, there is no limitation, what would you like to do? And number 3, if money were not an issue, what will you be doing with your life? Now, these 3 questions, I want to have answers, and I want us, Sarah, you can help me to pick the answers that are coming up so that we can discuss. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Just pause here, and I want you to write down your answers. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt? And if you had no limitations at all, what would you like to do? And finally, if money were not an issue, what would you be doing with your life? Now, these 3 questions are very critical, and I want you to think about them and share. Sarah, any sharing?
I guess people are typing away. Let's give them some time to type,
Okay.
and it will be up. So if you could repeat the questions again, Sam, because some of us are slow learners. So repeat the questions again for us
All
so
right.
that you'll
So the
get it.
questions should be on your screen. All right. Are you seeing my screen,
So if you could
Sarah?
share the slide, that will be helpful. And if
Sarah,
we
are
could
you seeing my
make,
slide?
I'm seeing the slide, but make it a little bit bigger so that people will see.
Well, it's my full screen, so maybe it's on your screen.
All
Just
right.
enlarge it. So if you
All
guys
right.
are seeing my slide, just enlarge it. And the slide is, where could you be? And the 3 questions there on that slide. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt? And if you had no limitations, what would you like to do? And if money were not an issue, what will you be doing? All right.
Okay. I'm still waiting for them to come up with their answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will just
So
okay.
Sam, let me ask you, for you, if you knew you would not fail, what would you attempt? While some participants are coming up with their answers, I am just thinking, what would I attempt? I think I'll
Well,
become,
I'm going to share with
yes,
you, and if I know I will not fail, I'm going to change the mindset of all the people of Africa.
that's
And
brilliant.
that is what I have set myself to do.
Uh-huh.
If I will not fail, if money is not an issue, if there is no limitation, I will change the mindset of all the people of Africa. So let us continue whilst people come up
Drop,
with their
yes, exactly.
ideas, just in case, um,
Nothing has come up yet.
maybe
Nothing,
people are thinking through. And I
exactly.
wonder if they are hearing us. Please let's be sure also that they're hearing us. All
Yeah.
right.
If you hear us, just drop in yes. Just drop in the letter yes if you can hear us.
All right. So we will continue whilst you think about this, because we'll come back to these questions. Now, as we said, we are going to talk about how to grow, how to expand. Now, in his book, The 15 Valuable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell has a law he calls the law of expansion. And he says, growth always increases your capacity. We as leaders, as individuals, need to grow. We need to intentionally decide that we want to increase our capacity, that we want to grow, we want to be better human beings. And as we improve and become better and improve ourselves, we increase our capacity, our ability to make a difference in the world. We increase our capacity to achieve. We increase our ability to do things differently. And a lot of us, for example, are staying in one place because we are not growing and we are not intentional about our lives. But we want to call on you this evening to set growth as an intentional objective, because it is only when you grow yourself, you grow your mind, you grow your thinking, you grow your actions, you grow your capacity to influence others. That is the law of expansion. And that's what we're going to discuss a bit more down the line. And we can see that great leaders live by this law because they grow and they expand their capacity. They are able to achieve more. And we're going to see how they do that. Now, from the question that I ask, if you are still thinking about it, or if there are some ideas in your head, the next question I have for you is, why are you not achieving the things that you said you would achieve if there was no limitation? If money was not a problem? If you said that if you were sure you will not fail, the things that you wrote down as the things that you would do, that sets your vision. That is your vision for your life. That is your vision for the world. That is your vision for your family. That is your vision for your company. Why have you not achieved those things up to now? In fact, why have you not even started doing them? A few reasons. The main reason is that most of us have set limits on ourselves. We have set limits on ourselves. And sometimes the limits have been set by other people for us. Now, the story is told of monkeys, three monkeys who were put in an experiment. And the way the experiment works was this. The three monkeys were put in a fence, in a cage, and they hung bananas on top of them, and they put a tree in the middle of the fence. And you know monkeys and bananas. Immediately they saw the bananas, they were rushing to go and catch and get it. And the way of the experiment works is that when the monkey is going up to pick the banana, they'll pour cold water on the monkey so that the monkey gets down. He's not able to go to the banana. So all the monkeys who tried to pick the banana, cold water was put on them. And cold water was put on them until they all stopped trying to get to the banana. Now, they took one of them out and brought another one. Immediately that one came and saw the bananas. His question was, but what's wrong with the two of you? Haven't you seen the banana? He immediately tries to go to get the banana. Guess what happened? The two who have tasted the cold water pulled this new monkey from reaching out to the banana. He tried again, they bring him down. He tried again, they bring him down until he gave up. So they took out one of the first two monkeys and brought another one. This monkey that came again tried to take the banana. The two, including the one who had tasted the cold water and the one who have not had the experience of the cold water, both of them brought him down so that he could not go up to take the banana. They took the one who had experienced the cold water out and brought a third monkey. This time there were 3 monkeys inside the fence who have not experienced cold water. So the third monkey came, tried to get the banana. The 2 monkeys immediately bring him down. Now you have 3 monkeys in the fence who have never tasted or experienced, had a bad experience of cold water being poured on them. And they failed. They made sure that none of them got the banana. So the banana is hanging there, and the 3 monkeys who have not had this experience of any kind were there watching. Why? Because they believed that they could not. And in fact, they don't even know the reason why the other 3 were bringing them down. Because the first 3 experienced, but the next 3 have not. And to some extent, many of us are like these latest 3 monkeys, or like these monkeys under this experiment. Because of experiences in life, we have set limitations on ourselves as to what we can do and what we can achieve. And these are called limiting beliefs. And these beliefs, either we took them ourselves or they have come from our parents, our friends, our school system, the books we have read, our churches, our mosques, the religions that we believe in have set limitations on what we can do. And so we are not able to achieve. The reason why we have not attempted to do the things we would attempt if we knew we would not fail is that we set limits on ourselves. And these are some of the reasons why we don't attempt. We have something we call the assumption. Most of us assume that we will automatically grow, things will work out, let's leave everything. Then there is the knowledge gap or limit. A lot of us don't know how to grow. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do business. I don't know how to achieve this. So we stay where we are. Then there is the limit in our mind of timing. And we say that, well, it's not the right time to do these things. It's not the right time to grow. It's not the right time to start my business. It's not the right time to go to school. Maybe I'm too old. I'm too young. So we limit ourselves. Then there is the mistake limit. I'm afraid to make mistakes. Hey, somebody attempted this and failed. I'm a woman. I can't do this. Politics is for women. I'm not educated. I'm afraid if I start, I'll make a mistake. So a lot of us have limited ourselves because we are afraid to make mistakes. Then there is the perfection limits that we have put on ourselves. These are all limiting beliefs. I have to find the best way before I start. Some of us are so perfect in our thinking that we will not attempt anything unless we found the perfect way. And there's no perfect way. So then we will not do it at all. The next limit is the inspiration. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like going to school. I don't feel like reading any book. I don't feel like starting a business. I don't feel like going to look for a job. I don't feel like, and I'm waiting to have an inspiration, to have a feeling. Ladies and gentlemen, the only generator of inspiration is action. If you don't take the first step, you would never feel to do the second one. So it takes action to get inspiration. Inspiration will not come whilst you are sleeping in your bed. Then there's the comparison limit. Oh, others are better than me. You compare yourself with somebody who is singing so well, and you say, well, I cannot sing. This girl is the best. Or somebody who is playing so well an instrument, or who is a footballer, who is playing so well, or an athlete is doing so well, or is preaching so well. And you say that, well, the way this person is doing, I cannot do it. So I just have to stop. Okay? Then the last one is the expectation limit. I thought it would be easier. I started it and then it was difficult. So I have to stop. Somebody else started it. And the way he said the thing is difficult. Going through this program is tough. I mean, these days, the most difficult probably thing is going through the law school. You cannot pass the exams. So we all stop. We stop. Some people stop. Some people are still fighting. And those who keep fighting are those who would be successful. All right? So let me share Anthony Robbins' statement with you. He says, the only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. These limiting beliefs that we impose on ourselves are the reasons we are where we are. But we can do more. We can achieve more. We can impact more people. We can make more contribution to the society. We can do more every day in our work. But we have set limits on ourselves from our own imaginations. Imagine that things are too difficult. Imagine that we have to find a perfect way. Imagine that we should not. These limiting beliefs are the reasons why we are where we are, and we are not going as fast as we can, as far as we can, because we have set limits on ourselves. It is our own imaginations and our own commitment to doing the things that we have to do. So, how do we break out of this mode? The limits that we have put on ourselves. And that is what we are going to talk about. And the way to do that, broadly speaking, the broad strategy is find where the edges are. Where is the limit? Where is the fence that is blocking you inside? Find the edges and move them out. So find the edges on your top, the edges below you, the edges on your right, the edges on your left, which have boxed you, and stretch them out. That is your assignment. Where are the edges which are limiting you? Where are the beliefs that are blocking you from moving on? These beliefs can be broken by expanding and stretching out and doing more. Now, let me go on. Great leaders, successful leaders, achievers have used 3 basic approaches or strategies. Call them the impact strategies. 3. And I'm going to go into this 3 in a bit more detail this evening, and we'll end. Number 1, increase your thinking capacity. That is how you can expand the edges. Number 2, increase your capacity for action. Okay, so the first one, increase your thinking capacity, underline thinking. Number 2, increase your capacity for action, underline action. And number 3 strategy, focus on contribution. Every great leader, think of them. From your revered religious leader, Jesus Christ, Madame Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, whoever you think about, Buddha, Muhammad, they have used these 3 strategies. If it's your political leader, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Obama, whoever you can think about as your greatest leader, have used these 3 approaches to make the impact that you so admire. increase the thinking capacity, increase your capacity for action, and focus on contribution. I'm going to take them in turns and share a bit more light on them. Number one, increase your thinking capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, the good book says that as a man thinks, so is he. And Jesus also said somewhere that out of the abundance of a man, so he speaks. And the things you speak have power to influence you. As a person thinks, so is he. We are products of our thinking. We are products of our thinking. The way you think generates the things you say, and the things you say to yourself generate your actions. Your actions then repeated becomes your habit, and the habit repeated become your behavior. Your behavior over time then becomes your character, and that's how people will see you, and your character over time will determine your destiny. So your destiny is not what somebody determined that you will be before you came into this world. Your destiny is determined by your thoughts. Your destiny is a product of your thinking, which translates into your actions, becoming your behavior and becoming your character. So if you want to increase your capacity to change your thinking capacity, three points you have to note. Number one, stop thinking more work and start thinking what works. A lot of us, because of our background and so forth, yes, there's all the saying, hard work doesn't break bones, and it's true. We have to work hard. When we're going to school, we are told, work hard. It's true, we have to work hard. But a lot of the time, we're just working hard, doing things that do not give results. So we've been working hard using the cutlass and hoe to farm for a very long time. I grew up in the village, and that's how we farmed. You will go and weed and weed and weed, and you don't get much results. When others are using machines to weed and clear their land, majority of our farmers are still using cutlasses and hoes. That is thinking on more work. So you wake up in the morning, you do more work, you work 24/7, and you don't get the results you need. Change that thinking and focus on what works, what is going to give you more results. If you change that thinking and focus on what works, what gives result, your method will change. This is a call to change the method. So you've been doing the same thing over and over, and more of that and more of that and more of that. Somebody defines that as madness. Doing the same thing over and over and over, using the same method over and over and more of that, and expecting a different result is the definition of madness. And so, please change that thinking. And some of us are working in offices, and we're doing the same thing over and over and over and more of the same thing, and we get tired. We wake up in the morning, we are running like crazy. Until COVID came, all of us felt that you should wake up 4 o'clock. You live in Spinters, there's so much traffic. You wake up 4 o'clock and you have to rush to the office and sit in the office, get to the office, sit there till 5. Tired. And COVID came and taught us that work is not where you go, work is what you do. And so you can work from home. And today, many, many more people are working from home. Okay, we were doing training here, inviting people to come to our site, and it was difficult. When COVID came, it forces us to change our thinking, and now we are doing training online, and all of you can join. So stop thinking more work, hard work, digging, cutting trees, hard labor, and start thinking what works. Number 2, on the level of increasing your thinking capacity, stop thinking, can I? and start thinking, how can I? You see, when you want to do something and you ask the question, can I do this? Do you know what happens? Immediately, the energy that that question brings to you is doubt. It begins to say to you, hey, this is difficult. Are you sure you're going to be able to do this? Can I do this? Takes away the energy from you, dampens your spirit because it brings in doubt. Okay, I mean, this week I was listening to Pastor Manson Otabel, one of the great speakers of our time, of our country in Ghana. Those who don't know him, Google him, you'll find him, and he was talking about the first things that God said, and the first things that Satan said, and the first thing that man said from Bible perspective, the first recorded words. And he talked about the first recorded words that of Satan was Satan came to the woman and asked, has God told you not? He raised doubt in the mind of the woman. And that led to them to breaking the doubt would destroy your energy and your capacity for action. Can I? Is a wrong question. Don't ask that question anymore. Start asking, how can I? You see, when you ask the question, how can I? It's open possibilities. It says there are ways to do it. And you begin to look for those ways. How can I? Number one, how can I? Number two, how can I? Number three. By the time you list all the options, how can I do this? How can I achieve my objectives? How can I change the world? How can I change the fortunes of my family? How can I make my nation great? How can I change my church? By the time you ask this question, how can I change my life? If you ask that question, it's opening opportunities and possibilities. And so start thinking differently. And that is how great leaders have all taught and changed their world. I mean, if you listen to I Have a Dream of Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream that one day this is going to happen. One day this is going to happen. One day. He was listing out possibilities against all the odds when the blacks were under subjugation and slavery and all the things were against them. And he did not. Can we have freedom? Can we live together as one people? Can we? He says, no. How can we do it? And he says, I can see how we can do it. He could list so many possibilities. So that is number 2 point to increase your thinking capacity. Number 1, think more. Stop thinking more work and start thinking what works. Number 2, stop thinking can I and start thinking how can I? Because that is what lifts the lid on your abilities. And number 3, and how to increase your thinking capacity, stop thinking one door and start thinking many doors. You see, many of us are stuck into a lane and we don't want to change that lane. I went to school, I studied accounting, and I'm looking for a job in accounting. Nobody is looking for an accountant. I've applied for 5 years and I'm still looking for accounting. And if I don't find any accounting job, I don't want to do anything again. Well, there's an administrative job. No, that's not what I did in school. Well, there is a management job. No, I didn't do management in school. I just studied accounting. And that is the only thing that I want to do. I've been to university and I have to get a job. And you're not getting a job. You apply for 1,001 jobs and you're not getting it. Your mother, who is an illiterate, use her illiteracy to sell yam. Go to the north and bring yam to pay your school fees. But you say, no, I cannot sell yam. I cannot sell yam. I have to get a job. But it is that yam that paid your school fees. Whilst you're looking for the job, what else can you do? So stop thinking one door, ladies and gentlemen, and start thinking many doors. There are many, many, many opportunities. There are different ways that you can do things. And as you begin to look at for different opportunities and different things and different ways of doing things, you expand your mind, you expand your thinking, you expand your imagination, you expand your creativity, and you are able to think better. And as you think better, you change yourself and you are able to do more. Because as a man thinks, so is he. All right. So that is the first point. Increase your thinking capacity by stopping to thinking more work and starting to think what works. Stop thinking, can I? And start thinking, how can I? Stop thinking one door and start thinking many doors. Number 2, strategy that all great leaders have used to achieve greatness and increase their impact is increase your capacity for action. As I said earlier, the only trigger of inspiration is action. People have said a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. You need to take action. It is action that transforms. Look, you can sit and dream and imagine all you want. If you don't take action, nothing happens. So how do you increase your capacity for action? Number 1, stop doing only those things you have done before and start doing those things you could or should be doing. A lot of us are in our comfort zone. I was employed as a receptionist. This is what I've done all the time, and this is what I want to do. Your boss comes and asks you, what else can you do? Well, this is what I do all the time, and I can't do anything again. You are limiting yourself. You are limiting your impact. Why don't you think out and start doing something else? It is absolutely important. I remember when I started work as a lawyer of the at the Ghana Stock Exchange, and I look at my work that I was doing, and I had to review documentation on financial issues, and I didn't learn those things in school. I just made up my mind that I have to go out there and do something else. I applied, I got an MBA to do international financial management, and when I went, it was tough. Because law was easy for me because that's what I had done all the time. But when I want to do international financial management, it was difficult. But at the end of the day, when I went through that, when I came back to my job, I could do it better. So stop doing the only things you have done over and over again and start doing what you could, the other options, the opportunities. Leave your comfort zone. Make mistakes. Because that is a sign that you are doing something. Okay? So start doing something. You make mistake, fall down, rise up, and that is how we all started walking, and today we can run. Number 2, stop doing just what is expected of you and start doing more than expected. And this is for those of us who are working for other people, especially. We have a job description. And when you are asked to do something else, you say, this is not on my job description, and I'm not going to do that. I had a boss who says he didn't believe in job descriptions because of these tendencies. Because he says, if you give job description to people, then they are limited by the things that are listed on the job description. So he asked, what is the job description of a CEO? What is the job description of a lawyer? You are the lawyer of the organization. 2 lawyers will do the same job differently. 2 accountants will do the same job differently. So stop doing what is expected of you and say, what do you want me to do? You create what you can do and get the job done. That's number 2. Number 3, for increasing your action capacity, Stop doing important things occasionally and start doing important things all the time. This is very, very important. Very, very important. A lot of us have postponed important things like learning, reading, personal development, reflections. We don't do them. We don't go to training. We don't look for seminars. Those are important things. We don't spend money on books. We spend more time on the less important things, like checking our WhatsApp messages 24/7, and the WhatsApp messages are not business related anyway. They're just jokes. We are listening to so many jokes. So stop doing the things that are important. Occasionally you go to school. Occasionally you read a book. Occasionally you do a reflection. No, let that be your habit. These are the important things of life. All right. So these are the first 2 points. And Nelson Mandela will tell you. He said, as I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. And the 2 things that we have discussed about changing your thinking capacity and changing your capacity for action is what is going to change you, what is going to transform you and make you a more impactful leader. He says, great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, and humility. Great leaders, great preachers, great ministers, great managers, great accountants, great lawyers are people of integrity, honesty, and humility. Why? Because they are prepared to review their life, change their life. They are prepared to do things right. They are prepared to learn and move on. That is Nelson Mandela. The third point I want to talk about briefly, and we close for the day, is focus on contribution. In the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell talks about the law of contribution. And he says, growing yourself enables you to grow others. What is your purpose in life? Why are you here? Why are you on this earth? A lot of us have limited ourselves because we are just focusing on ourselves. So, what is in it for me? You are applying for a job, and all you are thinking about on that job is the salary you're going to be paid. So, there is application for a job. The first thing you are looking for is, what is the salary? That's where you're starting from. And as you're going for the interview, all you are thinking about is, how much are they going to pay me? And you have thought about it, and you have calculated all your expenses, and that is what you're going to ask. And when you go to the interview and they ask you, what are you going to do to improve this organization? You have not thought about that. Because what is in it for me has become our formula, our thinking strategy. And it is a wrong thinking strategy. Great leaders don't think what is in it for me, because leadership is not about you. It's not about the leader. Leadership is about the people. It's about influence. It's about impact. It's about contribution. What are you going to contribute to the world? And the greatest of all leaders contribute to the world. They change the world. They transform poverty. They transform sicknesses. Where there's darkness, they've brought light. Where there's disease, they've brought medicine. They were thinking, what is going to be my contribution? So what is going to be your contribution? That is the most important question you should be asking yourself. So in thinking capacity, increasing your capacity for thinking and action, the goal should be the contribution you're going to make to the world. Capacity is not measured. It's not a measure of how much you hold or you keep. That's not how your capacity is measured, but how much you have in your hand. No, how much you can hide, how much you can hold, how much you can save for yourself. That is not how capacity is measured. Capacity is measured by how much you can give to the world. That is what makes the difference. How much music you can sing well to the world, how much great sermons you can preach, how much great accounting reports you can do, how much great analysis you can bring to the organization, how much organization in HR, in admin you can bring to the table, how much you can give to the world. How do you impact people? That is how capacity is measured. John C. Maxwell says the true purpose of leadership is adding value to others. That is why you are a leader. So if you can't add value to others, then you cannot. In fact, a great book says the more you give, the more you receive. It's better to give than to receive. That is the secret for success. Give more and impact more. So many people need help. They need to grow. Where are you? Are you willing to help them? The poor on our street, the street children, the orphans around you? What capacity, what contribution are you going to make? Are you just looking at yourself? You've gone to school, you have a degree. So many people in your village or in your area, young people, they don't go to school. Can you gather them and teach them ABC? You're looking for a job, you don't have a job, but you have time. Are you giving part of that time to the world? That is how you begin to make impact. So adding value to others is the essence of leadership, the true purpose of leadership. But you cannot give what you don't have. That is why you have to grow yourself. Okay? So daily ask yourself at the beginning of the day, what good shall I do today? What good shall I do today? You are the boss. What good am I going to do to my people today? You are the employee. What good am I going to do to my boss today? What impact am I going to make in the organization today? What contribution am I making? Don't just be satisfied that you are getting your salary at the end of the month and that is it. You are diminishing yourself. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, what good have I done? What impact did I make? So you see, each one of us have a choice. We either want to be a reservoir, keep knowledge, hoard things, hoard money and resources, or we want to be a river. And I encourage you to be a river and not a reservoir. The river gives all into the sea, and it still flows into the sea and it doesn't dry up. A reservoir keeps and doesn't give, and what happens? So many things fall into it, it begins to smell. The river is always pure and clean. So be a river and not a reservoir. As you think about adding value to people and making contribution, understand that if you give, the more you give, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more you give. It's as simple as that. Why are people able to give so much money? Because when you give so much money, the money grows and you can give more. If you give so much time, you get so much time, and that is the secret of life. So be grateful to people, put people first in your life. Don't let things, resources, cars, machines own you. And don't let other people own you. Define your success as sowing and not reaping. That is how all great leaders make impact. Keep growing by keep giving. That is what success is all about. All right. So I think I'm getting to my last point, my last slide. I'm running over my time. There's nothing in your past that must determine your future. Go back and look at your life and don't allow anything in your past to hold you back. Your capacity must continue to grow. So what is your impact now? What would you like your impact to be? That is your capacity. The gap between your impact now and what you want your impact to be is your capacity. So finally, back to the question we asked. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt? Change your thinking capacity, change your capacity for action, focus on contribution, and the things you can attempt would amaze you. If you had no limitation, what would you like to do? Great things will happen because that is how great leaders think. And let not money be a hindrance to what you can do, because money was not created by God. Money can always be created. Money can never be a hindrance to your growth. That doesn't mean money is not important, but you see, the more you give, the more money comes in. So, Jane Goodall says this as our final quote: you cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do make a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. May God bless us to understand these secrets of great leaders, and may we expand our capacity for thinking, capacity for action, and focus on contribution. And that is how successful leaders increase their capacity and make greater impact on the world. Thank you for your attention, Sarah. I ran over the time a bit, but thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam. This was great. Even though you ran over the time, you gave us much, much impactful learning, and we are very grateful. Thank you so much. And as Sam is taking a little break, I would like to invite all of us to start putting in the chat. Some of you have already started doing so. What are your takeaways? What impact has what Sam shared with us is really impacting you today? And I have a few questions. Let it keep on coming. Let me quickly read some of the comments. I see Emmanuel putting down thinking, action, and contribution. Diana says, think, action, contribute, focus on what works more. And again, Diana say is the same. Okay. And then Stephen Amwaku says, Sam, thank you. Blessed to be here tonight. Yes, we are blessed to have you too. Emmanuel has some questions. So Sam, whilst you're taking a sip of water, could you start noting his questions down? Work is not where you go. Work is what you do. That is one of his comments. And one, he says, don't think, okay, he was making notes. Don't think more work, think what works. Don't think what can I, think how can I. And three, don't think one door, think many doors. Thank you so much for these notes. So the only trigger for inspiration is action. Leave your comfort zone. Do more than expected. Do important things all the time. Thank you very much for these note-taking, Emmanuel. And then Diana says the presentation was very insightful. Thank you, Sam. And William, very powerful and awesome. Thanks very much, Mr. Ayim. And William says, thank you, CTL and Sarah. So there are no questions, Sam. I believe your presentation today was really, really clear, but as we are still reading and waiting for others to contribute, we will be asking people to drop into the chat box their comments and questions. 1 second. Okay. Queen Shishi says, I thank God for today. Today is my birthday and I have acquired a lot of things today. Growing yourself enables you to grow others. I learned this today. So happy birthday, Queen Shishi. And we are glad that you were able to grow yourself today, which is a great birthday gift to yourself. Well done. That despite today being your birthday, you did not stay away to party, but you decided to come and join us to grow yourself. Wonderful. I'm not having any more comments nor questions. So, Sam, if you
Yeah.
still have more for us, I know you ran over. If you still have more for us, we will gladly listen into you. Or if you have other points that you want to expand for us, we really want to expand our capacity. So, whatever you have for us, we are ready. Let's see, Kinshishi. Thank you.
Sarah, I think that it would be very great if our participants will share with us what they would like to do if they had no limitation. I seriously want to have answers to that one. I want at least a few answers. I want to see I want to see how we around this table want to change the world. And you asked me the question, we've set ourselves a goal of training 1 million young people in Africa in the next 5 to 10 years. And that is our ambition. That is something that, I mean, we think we can do. We set ourselves to change the leadership thinking in Africa, and I think we will do it. Okay. Yes, we don't have the money. Yes, there are so many limitations. Yes. But we know that this is what needs to be done. So what is it in that needs to be done that you have just decided in your mind, sometimes unconsciously, that it is too hard? It is too difficult. Well, there's no money. Well, this one, if I don't, I'll fail. So I want to hear, if possible, what are the things you're thinking of doing that, if money was not an issue and there's no limitation, you would do. That is
Okay.
the way you expand your thinking, and that is the way you allow your mind to flow, so that you set yourself up for greater success. So that is a question. If you can't answer it now, I would encourage everybody on this call to go back and sit back and answer those questions for yourself and begin to take action in that direction. So, Sarah, that's what I would like to just add at this point.
Okay. I have two people who gave us some answers. Mami Bafo says, if I knew I would not fail, I will start my PhD in psychology. And Cynthia Madison says, if I knew I will not fail, I will study to whatever level. Without any limitations, I would like to travel to every part of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's
Absolutely.
see
That
again.
is great. And why not? Why can't you travel to every part of the world? Okay. We quoted Jane Goodall. She's traveled all over the world. She came to Africa and studied chimpanzees and wrote a book. And it's the research that she did, which has everything you want to just about chimpanzees. Just choose something. So, yes. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, Cynthia and Mami, thank you so much. So let's see the new comments that are coming in. Quinticia says, thank you, Mama. Please, any advice for me? Expand your capacity to grow. That's the advice we have for you. And be a leader who adds value to others. Okay, Idvan IK says, good presentation. Ican, that is great, but give us more comments regarding what would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? There were three questions that Sam put on the chat from the beginning, and I'll read them again. Let me get my notes. I wrote so
And
many
Sarah,
things.
whilst you get your notes, I would
Yeah.
like those of us who join later, and Kofi, maybe you want to share the video. I want to encourage those of you who have not joined the growth journey. Now, the growth journey is a very powerful program that we've put together around the 15 invaluable laws of growth of John C. Maxwell. And we are helping people to grow from where they are to where they could be. And on the growth journey, every week we have time thinking about how you want to move from where you are. So I want to encourage those of you who are on the call, please register for the growth journey. And we are finishing the next journey next week, and we are beginning another journey. So this is the time to enroll on the growth journey and make a difference in your life and what you can do. All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, before Kofi does that, Sam, could you write these two questions down? From Gisela in Switzerland says, what do you recommend if you feel stuck in your imagination? That is a great question, Gisela.
All right.
What would you recommend if you feel stuck in your imagination? And then 2, how do you create audience for impact? From Alfred. How do you create impact? How do you create audience for impact? So, Sam, whilst you think about this, Kofi, you can play the growth journey advert for everybody to see. Thank you. We'll be back.
Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome back, Sam. Would you like to take the 2 questions? Sam, we can't hear you. Sam, we cannot hear you.
To Gisela's question,
Yes.
Gisela, how are you? And how is Switzerland? Yes, if and it happens, you can get stuck. You are thinking through things and you get stuck. And I think there was one line that I skipped. I said, look for a mentor, look for a coach. Sometimes when you are on your own and you're thinking through things and it's difficult for you, you need somebody who can help you through that. It can be a friend, and you should be careful who you're choosing. It can be a mentor, somebody who has gone through the journey before, or it can be a coach. And that's what we do here. We are here, and on the growth journey, for example, some people have come on the journey and the things they've been thinking about for a very long time, and they didn't know how to do it. And as we go through it and we think through with them, they now feel liberated. They feel that there are possibilities. They feel they can do them again. So I would encourage you to have somebody who you can think with, a thinking partner, a coach, or a mentor who can help you out of that stuck situation. Now, Alfred is asking, how do you create an audience for impact? And that's a very interesting question. And maybe I'll encourage you to enroll for the rebroadcast of Live to Lead, because there was a very powerful presentation by Ed Milet on how you can make an impact and how you can be more persuasive. Because if you want to get people to the vision that you have, because and it's true, you cannot do it alone. If you're going to think big and you're going to change the world, change Africa, you can't do it alone. You need people. So how do you get people to follow you? First of all, make sure this is your passion. This is something you want to do. Number two, believe in yourself and believe in your message. And Ed Milet says something in his presentation, very, very interesting. He says, people don't have to believe in what you are saying. He says, people don't have to believe in what you are saying. People just have to believe that you believe in what you are saying. And there's a big, big, big difference, friends. If you want to get people to your purpose, to your mission, they don't have to. Sometimes we are trying to spending all our time trying to persuade people to believe that what we are saying. And when they raise question and they raise doubt, and we feel, we are struggling to try to persuade them and give them arguments. They don't have to believe what you are saying. All they have to believe is that you so believe passionately in what you're doing. And when you have that passion rubs on people. Then he says that you have to be very certain. And he says in every argument, the more certain person wins the argument. And he said a very interesting story about his wife. And he says he's married his wife for several years, and the wife has won every fight that they have fought. And he says the reason is that the wife was more certain. Why? He says the wife has been wrong 70% of the time, but she has won all the fights. The reason is that the wife is always 100% certain, more certain that she's right. Even though she's wrong, she's certain that she's right, and she pushes it so hard until the husband says, yes, I give up, you are right, and she wins. And the last point he shared is that you have to be evangelical with what you want to do. You have to be evangelical means that you have to be so passionate about what you want to achieve and sell it just like you're selling the gospel of Christ, or those of you who are Muhammad, the gospel of Muhammadan. Just be evangelical, be constant. And that's why we are doing this, guys. Look, we are doing this leadership platform every week for free. Okay? Why are we doing it? Why did we set ourselves to do this at the Center for Transformational Leadership? Because we so passionately believe that leadership is the key. Leadership is the answer. Leadership is the cause. All other things are effect. And we want everybody to know about these principles. And that is why we are so evangelical. Every Saturday we are here preaching to you about leadership. Why? Because we believe in it and we are convinced. And we know that some of the things that we are sharing, yes, you may not share with us. That's fine. But we believe it with all our heart that if we can change the leadership construct in Africa, in Ghana, in our organizations, in our church, just a little bit, the world, Africa, will be a better place. So, Alfred, that will be my response to your question.
Thank you, Sam. Excellent, excellent. Okay, I don't have any more questions, but I do have a comment from Diana answering the question that you posed to us. One of the questions she says, if I had a lot of money, no limitations, I would have loved to change the perception of Africans. I would love to help all needy children across every street of Ghana. That's wonderful.
And absolutely, Diane, start. Okay? Yes. So don't let the limitation, don't let the money stop you. Just start. Serve one needy person. Change one mind. And that is what would change the world. Just one. And that actually was going to be my closing remark. Just one. One day at a time, one thing at a time. And this we learned also at Live to Lead. Okay? So for all those of you who have those big dreams and great ideas, you don't have to do all that at the same time. Yes, we want to train 1 million young Africans in leadership. We can't train 1 million at one goal. We can train one person at a time. So take one step at a time. Read one book at a time. Take one goal at a time and work at it. Take one need at a time and work at it. One thing, one more thing at a time. And Ed Milet says, by so doing, you would gradually be moving the needle and will be moving towards your goal. And that would be my encouragement to all of you. And that would be how you are going to increase your impact one step at a time, one thinking at a time, one action at a time, one idea at a time, one book to read at a time, one page at a time, one consolation. Just advise somebody, one advice at a time to somebody, and you'll be making an impact. Just one thank you to somebody, being grateful one more time to somebody. Those things are what is going to help you change the world. So you don't have to start everything and achieve them all the time, but just do one at a time. Yes, you will fail from time to time. When you fail, just rise up one more time. And Ed Milet told us the story of his father, which I want to end with. His father was an alcoholic. He says for the first 40 years of his father's life, he was an alcoholic. And one day, his mother told his father, you are going to lose your family by this behavior. And he says that his father, that got to him. So he called him, Ed Milet, his father called him and says, I'm going to go out to become sober one more time. Your mother says, I'm going to lose my family. Your mother deserves better. He deserves a better husband than this. So I'm going to go one more time to be helped, to be sober. And he was determined at that point in time to change his life. And he went, and one more time, he got sober. And for the rest of his life, he turned his life around, and he spent the rest of his time helping other alcoholics to get sober. So what are we saying? You can make a difference in this world, guy. You can make a difference, lady. You can make a great difference in our world. Just one action, just one thought that you would decide today. Just one decision today that you want to, for example, join the leadership platform, or you want to join the growth journey, or you want to have a rebroadcast of Live to Lead. Just one action at a time, or you want to read one more book. That is what is going to change your life, and that is what is going to help increase your capacity and make great impact in the world. So, Sarah, I want to thank everybody. Thank God for giving us this opportunity to learn, and I hope that has been helpful to everybody on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. So upon this note of the power of one, which Ed Milet taught us, and Sam has reiterated it, ladies and gentlemen, go and take action one more at a time, one more time. So until we come to you with another leadership platform topic, we sign off today with the power of one. Good night, everyone, and God bless you all. Over to you, Kofi.
There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.